I've been thinking about making this video for a long time. I've been sitting on it. I've had to think about my aspirations, the people that I work with, Rogue Entertainment, Fourth Wave people, the integrity of the community versus morality, right? Because I am the Fandom Menace historian. That's my moniker. That's what I say, right? I'm the Fandom Menace historian. But there's something that has been going on for weeks, a story that's been going on for weeks. Nobody's talking about. Nobody. And if they have, I haven't seen it. Let me explain me. Let me explain me for a minute. I've been writing a series since I was a kid. It's called The Elemental Saga. It used to be on sale. It's not anymore. I took it off the market because I'm reworking it. It's a very deep and rich lore that I've been working on for 30 plus years. I want it to be my Star Wars. I love these characters. I love this universe that I've built. I think you guys will too. I think those of you science fiction, science fantasy fans out there are going to love it too. It's kind of like Highlander meets X-Men. It's about a group of elementals led by John Lu Ra, who's the hero, the fire elemental. He's the last son of Ra, a line that's existed for thousands of years. And he's got to basically kill a demon god by the name of Volrin Tudakan. It's a very long story that stretches across multiple planets. It's got revised Earth history, or it's got revisionist Earth history, alternate Earth timelines. So many characters that I've spent years working on. And that's my dream. That's my goal. That's my end game. Don't get it twisted. I'm straight up about that. Always have been. In order for me to get there, I have decided that this group of individuals called the Fandom Menace, this group of independent voices who have meant so much to me, who have inspired me to do my thing, I'm going to build my legend by reporting this historical documentation, not only about the rise of this collective, which is not just a group of YouTubers. It's also writers like Ichibaka. It's also people that go into the Twitter trenches like Data Racer. It's people like Anthony Ergo. It's people like Stephen Wayne Art. It's people like you in the chat. It's more than that. And as I researched work for the Fandom Menace Volume 1, I found this has been going on for 10 years. It infected gaming and comics, television, and movies. It's pushed by the mainstream media. It's a lot of work that went into this book. I recently found out, and I forgive this person, but I recently found out that there was someone who I respected in the community that at one point thought that I was just not, that I wasn't real, that I was just writing a book about a bunch of YouTubers, right? If there's one person that thinks that in the community, then there's a group. Let's be honest. We all know social politics. That was a blow. That was a blow to my ego. But, man, you got to roll with the punches, bro. You know? I believe in this community. Everything that I have done, I've made one or two mistakes along the way. But everything that I have done has been for the integrity and the strength of our community. Because I believe in it. Phantom Menace Volume 1 is not about a bunch of YouTubers. It's about fighting the culture war. It's about fighting the resurgence of racism, segregation, bigotry. It's about the right for people to express themselves, to have an opinion. It's for the right for the consumer or the fandoms to be able to enjoy the properties they have for decades without assault, coercion, shame from SJWs. From people who have repurposed, who have taken control of these franchises and then set about attacking the customer because they want to press their ideology over continuing the traditions and lore that came before them. There's a lot of work that I've put into these books. A lot of work. I'm currently working on 2, trying to get that ready so that when the Indiegogo for 2 finishes, I don't have the same learning curve that I had with the first one. To those of you out there still waiting on books, dude, I can show you the box of books I got right here, like right over here. I'm shipping them out. I can only do it 1 day a week because I'm just really busy and I'm working. You know, thank you to every backer. Thank you to every backer. And thank you to every backer because I don't have a comic skate. I don't have a comic skate to push me. I have had Fandom Menace YouTubers reach out and help to promote me, and thank you to every one of you. Thank you to everyone who has reached out and helped to elevate me. And the ones that haven't, hey, I understand. You're busy. You got projects. You got things. Let me explain something about this game that we're in. And I think this pretty much goes for any group. I think any maybe big hashtag or group of collective of individuals anywhere, any one of us. You know, when you have a group that's really big, you've got cliques. You've got people that sit at different lunch tables. It is what it is. You know, you get together with people that you like. You work with people that you like. You end up working with people that you trust. You create that clique, and you run with that clique. Yeah, that's natural. That's completely natural. Yet, there are some of us that have more power than others. This is a natural thing. Some of us have bigger channels than others, have a bigger outreach. And for the most part, these people have been responsible with that voice. They understand the power, the weight of their voice over others. Some of them use that when they can, when they're not busy. Because running a channel is no joke, especially a big one. I'm learning this as I'm getting to know some of these guys and gals. I've reached out to smaller creators when they can and try and help lift them up. I think Gary Nerdrotic said it great the other day. You know, they can get you to 1,000, but you got to put in the work, and that is the truth. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just building this platform to entertain, to have my voice heard in this culture war, trying to provide some entertainment to y'all, and being genuine as I can, being as genuine as I can, while helping other people to rise. That is what I'm doing. I want to sell these books. I want to fight in the culture war. That's what these books are about. And then I'm going to sell my science fiction. I'd like to retire like George R.R. Martin, bro. That's my end game. I want to retire writing the Elemental Saga. Just that's my thing. I want to write about what I love. That's where I'm heading to. In order to get there, I've got to build. Unfortunately, there's some things that I have been unable to speak on. There's some things that I've been unable to report on that would have gotten me mad clicks. Because some of us in the community place the integrity of the community over clickbait. And that's a good thing. One of these subjects, one of these things, is something that's been going around for about a month now. A little more than a month. And has not been reported on. Not reported on by anybody in the Fandom Menace. Damn near nobody in Comicsgate. It is a Comicsgate issue. But it's very relative to everything that we say we stand for. And I have not spoken about it because the moment I do, the optics are going to change. But am I not the Fandom Menace historian, right? Is that not my moniker? Is that not what I'm supposed to do? Report on things that are important to the culture war. One of these things has spawned out of the riots and the racist hate groups and the domestic terrorist groups that are just running rampant across this country that are promoted, protected, funded by those we have been fighting for years. Those SJWs, those far leftists. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about, no, actually, I'm wrong about that. I'm wrong about that. There's one group that's been talking about it. But because the optics of this group from the outside looking in is shite, nobody's taking it serious. Let me tell you something. I first started messing with War Campaign because I wanted to help EVS. That's really the reason. I wanted to get to know this group of very strong-headed, very, very, very strong-minded, strong-willed individuals, creators who are backing other independent creators. I'm an independent creator. I have a vested interest in that, even though I'm not a comic book creator. And that's why I got to know those guys. Some of them, anyway. And like many moves that I have made over the last year, that kind of shot me in the foot. Shot myself in the foot, I should say. Because if you're paying attention to any of the War Campaign things going on right now, you know exactly why. By trying to support people who are fervent believers in EVS, I was trying to help EVS on the ground level. The same way that I would help promote park hopping. Or the same way that I promote Midnight's Edge After Dark. The communities that support these bigger channels. Like, because that's where I'm at. I'm on the ground level. So I do my best to promote these people from the ground level. You know, who am I? Who am I? A small channel. I'm a writer that apparently some people in TFM think is just so that's why I got involved with War Campaign. Let me explain to you about these guys. When I first got in there, I do have a warrior's heart. I do. So I kind of understood that. And they were fighting for Comicsgate. Now, the difficult part of this is people look at War Campaign, think it's an echo chamber. It's not an echo chamber over there. I'm in their Discord. Trust me, these cats fight with each other all the time. They are fiercely independent from one another. And a lot of them don't like the Fandom Menace. And even though a lot of them don't like the Fandom Menace, they have never come at my neck. They have never openly attacked me. They have never memed me. They have never come at me. And thank you guys. Although I probably just earned a dildo meme at this moment. But I appreciate that. Now, some of them decided to start memeing a person's dead relative and use it as a weapon. That is bitch-made SJW bullshit. And as much as some people talk about being SJWs, or others being SJWs, that is some SJW garbage level, inhuman bullshit. And I can't back that. And that cost me optics. Now, that's not everybody in War Campaign. There are people in War Campaign that don't want nothing to do with that. This split happened with them, and it's really messed up the entire Comicsgate community. I was getting involved with those guys, trying to help promote independent creators from a perspective of not expecting any returns, but also hoping that some of these creators would in turn push me, would in turn promote my book. That never happened. I'm not salty about it. You got to gamble sometimes. But this whole thing that's happened between War Campaign and EVS and the rest of Comicsgate has caused a rift in many areas. Many. And because of this, nobody wants to even talk about War Campaign or even get involved with that crew. It is what it is. And then because of this, there is a legit story right now. War Campaign's over there just waving around like, guys, pay attention to this. Hey, why is nobody paying attention to this? And nobody is, because of the optics from the outside looking in on that crew. Nobody wants to give them any validation because of what some of them have done in the past. And I get that. But am I not the Fandom Menace historian? That's my moniker, right? That's what I am, right? I've been spending the last so many months playing social politics, dealing with people criticizing me from the outside and apparently the inside. Thank God that all of y'all that criticized me on the inside have kept it quiet. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really do. I'm glad that that's been kept in-house. But I mean, that's what I am, right? That's my moniker. And I'm fighting these books. These books are fighting in the culture war, fighting against cancel culture, SJWs, social and domestic terrorism from the far left. I have to say that this has been something I've wanted to speak on, and I have not on any live stream or any video because I don't want to get canceled. Honestly. But then I came to realize that, I could keep repeating myself over and over again. I could keep telling y'all the same thing. I could keep trying to do as much good as I can for the community. And there are some people that will never reach across to my table. And that's fine. That's a personal choice. That's what it is. I'm not salty about that. But at the same time, do I compromise my integrity for people who don't want to work with me anyway? And I don't mean I'm going to alter what I've written or what I've documented, because a lot of it's been positive for some of these people, and I don't really want to get in any kind of negative way with some of these people. I don't. I've seen friends get canceled. Sometimes because of their own mistakes, to be quite honest. I've taken hits because I've remained friends with people. I'm sorry that honor and integrity and friendship mean something to me. My bad. And trust and believe, I've taken hits for that. I've taken karma for standing up for the wrong people. I noticed a big-ass preface. Everybody's like, what is Steve talking about? So I'm just going to get to it. There is something called the Bail Project. Look it up if you don't know. The Bail Project basically is something that funds criminals, domestic terrorists, street-level SJWs, racist hate groups, that helps bail them out of jail after being arrested for committing acts of domestic social terrorism, destruction, racist based violence, funds them, gets them out of jail so they can go back out on the street and continue to commit acts of terrorism and violence. There is a company, one of many, to be sure, that are funding this project. And one of them is Dynamite. And it's being spearheaded by Gail Simone. Now, I can't write these volumes and document the culture war without even mentioning Gail Simone, because she's a big-ass SJW. Cancel culture, person who perpetuates false narratives. I can't not talk about that person. And I can't not, if I'm going to at least spend one chapter a book talking about Comicsgate, not document comic industry funding the release of domestic terrorists. But nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about this because some of the big names in the Fandom, Menace, and Comicsgate are involved with these people. War Campaign's been over there waving that flag, talking about it. Nobody wants to talk about it because nobody wants to give War Campaign any traction. I get that. I from the outside looking in. People also don't want to speak about this because they're going to get canceled. I just got canceled. I just never ever mess with Steve again. To be honest, everybody involved really don't mess with me anyway. What do I have to lose? This is a huge story, guys. This is a huge story. Why aren't the bigger comics get YouTubers talking about this? Why is nobody talking about this? Why? Because everybody's circling the wagons. Everybody's protecting their own interests. Look, we are all responsible for our own growth. That's the truth of it. At the end of the day, one of the things that helps our growth, helps us selling our products for those of us independent creators, is certain people giving us shout outs. Certain people reaching out and helping us. That's a thing. Now, everybody has the right to decide who they want to work with and who they don't want to work with. War Campaign's never shouted me out. That's cool. I'm not a comic book creator, and that's what they do. EVS has never shouted me out. Well, I mean, he's a comic book creator. He's Comics Gate. That's what he does, right? I get that. I'm not a comic book creator. I make history books that apparently, to a lot, or to some, are completely misunderstood. It is what it is. I don't even know if I'm going to release this video, because I'll get canceled. That's a thing. But am I not the Fandom Menace historian? Am I not fighting for our modern mythologies? Fighting against SJW culture, against cancel culture, against the echo chambers that reinforce wrong think? Am I not supposed to be objective? I got to think about more than just me. I think about my future. I got to think about my kid, because I want to be an example to my kid. That's really the end all of what I'm doing. To be a better father. Live my dream. Show my son that it can be a thing. That you can succeed. If you believe in yourself. But there is a level of hypocrisy that exists when you have people who purport to be fighting against cancel culture, SJW culture, groupthink, echo chambers, this kind of thing, and seem to be doing the exact same thing and allying themselves with people who are supporting SJW culture and groupthink. Like, we got to take a serious look at that, guys. I'm not telling anyone who they should and should not support. You back who you want to back. You support who you want to support. If you look at this situation as something different than it is, then you look at it as something different. We all have the right to our opinions. But the most obvious thing right now, to me, which is, are you guys supporting something like the Bail Project? Are you supporting Gail Simone? Are you supporting SJWs who would turn on you in a heartbeat? Are you supporting domestic terrorist groups? Or are you fighting for independent thought, creativity, honoring lore? That's the question. And it's the question I've had to ask myself over the last several weeks, because this is me putting my head on the chopping block. I'm working hard as hell right now on the Fandom Menace Volume 2. I want to present to you something that is worth your purchase, that is worth the documentation, it's worth the paper it's written on, it's worth the efforts that have been put in by so many people to stand up for us, to be our voices. So, I guess we'll see what happens with me after this. I don't even feel like doing my outro. Just be good to each other. Peace.